All right, ladies, gentlemen, gamers, and fellow Fortnite lovers, welcome back. It's your boy, the greatest Fortnite lover, back at it again to give you an honest thoughts on the new Fortnite chapter and season. So we are in chapter 4, season 1, and I'm here to describe how I feel after playing it for a little bit. So, it being a new chapter, I was expecting some big changes. And I'm gonna be honest, the way this season was advertised, it honestly seemed like there wasn't gonna be too much. Obviously from the trailers alone, which I've reacted to, it seems like they were just gonna add dirt bikes, a new gun or two, some new areas. It didn't look too crazy. It just honestly looked like more of the usual. I'll say this right now that the trailer at face level does not do justice to how good this season actually is. It hasn't even been out for that long, and I can already confidently say that it is one of the best seasons we had in a while for so many reasons. Just gameplay wise, system wise, battle pass wise, almost everything. And the best thing about Fortnite is over time, even within the season, it's going to get better because they're going to add more. It is so crazy. Now, I might be a little biased because I am a Fortnite lover. However, I feel as the greatest Fortnite lover, I'm a person who loves Fortnite as much as I do. So I will call out the game when I think there's been a dip in quality or something is wrong. I'll be honest with it. I want to see Fortnite succeed more than anybody else on this planet. I honestly do. I love the game. I think what it has done for the gaming industry as a whole, plus how it treats its consumers and its fans, is just amazing. Epic does not stop, and it's so fucking. It makes me just so happy. I fucking love Fortnite. So, let's go everything that's actually new with the new chapter and season, and I'll kind of give my opinions on it. So, the biggest change that you can't really see from any of the trailers that came out is the new system in the game, which is the augment system. This has to be one of the things that has shocked me and is one of my favorite additions to the game that Epic added, and I hope to dear God it is now a core system going forward. If this thing is done correctly, it will be such a good fucking idea. Right now it's in its infancy. It's not bad now, but it's really in its infancy. So essentially what the augment system is it's an evolving perk system that you get throughout each and every game you play. So at the start of every game, you have no augments, and then as the game goes on, I think every 2 or 3 minutes or so, you get a new augment up to 4. And every time you get a new augment, you can choose one of two. You get two choices, you could choose one. Now, I think while the first iteration is good, we're gonna go over very briefly the systems and how it's presented to you. There's a little bit of some obvious issues here. I really do hope this sticks around and they make it better, but let's go over some of the issues. Some of the augments are literally just trash throwaway, like you're not going to pick them. Some of them are very niche. There's one that actually lets you just go into a car and you have infinite fuel and the car has more health, or the vehicle, should I say. But obviously that's only if you're using a vehicle, and you got to remember, there's other augments out there that you can get that are way better than this. So not to say that augment isn't bad. That augment is very niche. It's just there's better augments out there. Now, this is where the question comes in. The question comes in, what happens if you get two augments when you have to choose them, when you have to choose one that are bad? This is where they added in my opinion, one of the best use for bars that they've ever had. They solved the problem which was occurring in almost every season since bars have been introduced. You have a surplus of bars. What Epic has done is they saw a problem, they created a fun gameplay core, I hope to be core mechanic, that also ended up solving this other problem that they had. You can now re-roll your augments with the bars that you have. So you're never going to have an excess of bars, because this is something that you can easily do. You don't need to go to any machine or anything to spend your bars. You don't need to go to a character that sometimes might not be there, or you might not find, or you don't care to go near. Augments happen wherever you are, and you can always reroll them. Now, this is where I will commend Epic greatly. Bars are not only used on the augment system. Bars are used on everything else, like I just said, characters, machines, you name it. So the way that they've made this system, the reroll system, is really indicative of just Fortnite and Epic's business models in general and how fair and good they are to the consumer. The first reroll you get with the augments is free, which is already like, wow, okay, cool. And then after you use your free one, the reroll after that is 100 bars. But every reroll after that is 100 bars. It is so fair. Now, this could be kind of a mixed bag. So, I'll get to that in a second. I just want to really emphasize how Epic could have been dickheads. They could have made it that the reroll increases each time the number of bars you need. But no, they made it stay the same, and I want to kiss them on the mouth for it. So like I said before, this is kind of a mixed bag a little bit because most of the time you end up gonna get like augments that are kind of whatever to like kind of trash. There's a pistol one where it's like, why are you using pistols? This is literally a throwaway one. Maybe you could argue it's niche for the pistol players out there. Yeah, they're not excluding anyone. But I haven't seen a shotgun one yet, and that's the next thing I want to go into. You can reroll the augments. Most of them are trash. However, some of them are really OP. Like some of them are really good. There's one where you can just have a glider. It's like the team deathmatch game mode. It's like Rumble, where if you fall off of any high place, you just have a glider. Another one is if you jump while sprinting, you enter low gravity mode, so you essentially can never die from fall damage if you jumped from sprinting. It's like these are no brainers you're gonna get these. Obviously, you're not gonna get both of those unless you really want good mobility. But overall, there's obvious augments that are way better than the others, and you can just keep re-rolling to get into them. So at this point though, this is why I said it's a mixed bag, because that can end up being OP. However, the augments are really hard to get, especially the good ones. So if you're planning to get them all in one game, you better be ready to spend a lot of fucking bars. So at that point, technically you could abuse the system, but you can only do it every once in a while if you save up. If you're even lucky. So I actually think it's good. So aside from the augments, the next change that's the most obvious, it's the map. It's a whole brand spanking new map that looks fucking epic. No pun intended. The areas I think are really varied. They have really different environments from one another. The weather is different. There's a whole snowy area. There's a fall area. There's a new system of like hot zones. And I don't mean hot as in the weather. I mean hot zones as in like how good the loot is there. Or at least that's what I'm assuming. So this kind of solves the problem again. They had a problem before and they solved it with a new system that I think is just good overall. This system did not need to be added to solve this problem, but it inadvertently did, and that's the problem of what old tilted towers caused. Old tilted towers caused it so everyone dropped in one area because that was the hot area and they knew there was usually a lot of loot there. And Fortnite's not gonna change the loot pools, at least not like that anymore. Now they do. Now instead of it being in one area where you know there's good loot on the map, you see areas that are highlighted. Their names are highlighted, and now you know there's good loot there, and it's more than one area. So what does this do? Every game it changes so it includes variety. How does Fortnite do it again and again? How do they just keep putting things that make the game better that just seem like they make sense? It's like I wouldn't be able to think of this beforehand unless I sat down and like removed my Fortnite love glasses off. But I just don't get it. It's so crazy. The theme of the map so far seems to be just a lot of random pieces that are sewn together. There is a lot of nods to the previous map because, you know, according to the lore, some stuff did survive the big fucking boom that happened. But the original stuff that's new, it's pretty loosely themed around knights, which I think is a pretty cool theme. The map doesn't just feel new either. It actually really looks amazing. So I don't know what settings they ended up changing. I don't know if like what they did to the engine, but they must have added in like the fucking slap juice to it because the graphics now look a lot better than they did. It is amazing. All over Twitter, I've been seeing comparisons of like, oh yeah, look at old Fortnite, look at how shitty it was, and now look at how it looks now in today's like time. It's like night and day. It's just so fucking good. You have ray tracing, you have volumetric clouds, you have realistic styled art and effects. It's just fucking crazy. It's so good. So the map isn't the only thing that's new. Obviously now we have the dirt bike, which controls kind of like shit if I'm gonna be honest. But once you actually learn how to ride it, it's not easy to control per se. It's not too easy. But again, once you learn how to really like get a handle on it, it's actually pretty good, and you could do some really good things with it. It's really good for off-road, and it has a decent sized jump to it. So you can definitely go crazy with it. But anyway, aside from that, they've added a bunch of new fucking weapons too. I'm actually shocked at how many new ones they included. They did have some old ones returning. Now, aside from the bow, every other weapon that they returned is pretty okay. They returned the scar, thankfully. I missed the scar. We haven't had that in a while, but the bow is the only returning weapon that I'm like, get this out of here. I don't like that. The new weapons include 2 new shotguns, an SMG, an assault rifle, and a new sword launching rifle that literally shoots exploding swords. Plus, as you saw in the trailer, if you watched my video of it especially, that there's a new big hammer gimmick that you can like slam. So overall, I think the weapons, while they are new, they're not overpowered. They're kind of honestly, I think, sort of balanced. And even maybe bordering on weak comparing it to the old weapons, but that's honestly okay. I think we were getting to a point in Fortnite where there was weapon power creep, where weapons were becoming too powerful, and the only way Fortnite could introduce a new weapon is if it had some kind of like special gimmick to it, like it was some weird rarity that only a character drops, or if it just killed them faster or had some, stupid gimmick with it, like it was a burst round. The last weapons I think were really unique and original, and they weren't even that unique, was oh my god, I forgot what they're called off the top of my head. They're the chrome rifles, the chrome rifle and the chrome shotgun that you could level up. Even then, the chrome shotgun was kind of interesting. The chrome rifle was just a burst rifle that increased in burst with rarity. The gimmick with those was you can increase the rarity. There's not too many gimmicks like that anymore. It's more just quality of life with the weapons, but overall, I feel like the weapons are not as powerful, which is good. I think it's important that they did lower it down, because even though it's going to sting a little bit, I think it's healthy for the game. Not to say you won't get deleted if someone can aim. You still definitely will. But I found more often than not, especially with the auto shotgun, which is one of the 2 new shotguns, and the dual mag SMG, which is one of my favorite SMGs, but it is weaker than what we remember, that it took longer with these 2 weapons to kill than I'm used to. Again, that's not necessarily a bad thing. It's just sort of a shock, like, wow, these weapons aren't as strong. But they're not being overshadowed by strong weapons necessarily, which I think, again, is good. So the only thing I might be a little annoying is everyone is using the new fucking hammer. And why is this? It's because of its movement capabilities. So I already said there might be weapon power creep. I think, we were leading to that. There already is all sorts of other power creep in the game. I think there's movement power creep, shield power creep, fucking weapon power, not weapon power creep, but like rarity power creep, where it's so easy to get like good tiered stuff. Back in the day, stuff like this did not occur. Like, it was hard to get these things. I remember when full shields were a lot harder to get, and the storm coming and closing in on you and you not being in the zone actually meant something. Nowadays, you have a car, you have all these different grenades to bounce you forward, you have the hammer, name it. There was a grapple hook, there was the Spider-Man webs. It's just annoying. And the Spider-Man webs were probably my number 1 hated item in all of Fortnite, because it made the fight so pussy. I think movement is the next thing that needs to be toned down, because the storm needs to mean something in, but that's just, that's another video that can be branched off. We're not going to keep that in this video of me reviewing my initial thoughts. But anyway, I think stuff is pretty good. So aside from that, aside from the new weapons, we have new items in general and new mechanics that just bring more quality of life to the table. You can now auto vault over like small objects that are up to your waist, which, I'm gonna be honest, it is a little buggy right now, but once they smooth it out, I think it's gonna feel really good. And it even synergizes with an augment. One of the augments gives you a short burst of infinite sprint if you vault over something, which feels amazing. So I kind of spoiled it right there, but one of the previous mechanics that they added in that now got improved upon was the super sprint. You can now have infinite super sprint. So one of the things that I've heard a lot of people say was like, oh yeah, the new super sprint that they added in is good, but you can only do it for so short of a time. It's kind of like ass. Well, Epic listened, and they killed two birds with one stone. And how did they do that? With Slap Juice, the competitor to Slurp Juice. So, and there's also a Slap Fruit. So, it's a good quality of life change all around because you can sprint for unlimited short bursts, which just feels better. One of the telltale historic things in games that players will just enjoy is sprinting for as long as you want at maximum speed. Now, granted, it's not forever, but it's for a lot longer than you could with the Slurp Juice. So, the Slap Juice. So the Slap Juice is also a new thing. It's a new item that is almost as good as minis. It gives 5 less shield as minis because you find it in groups of 3, and it gives 15 each. The best thing about this is, again, the quality of life that it brings. Slap Juice, you could drink while moving. Minis, you were stuck in place when you use them. Slap Juice, you can use while moving, and aside from giving you shield, it gives you the unlimited sprint effect for the short time, where it doesn't drain your sprint. It is so good. Basically, the whole thing that Fortnite has done is they've added a lot of new things, most of which are fresh, mostly good, a bomb-ass battle pass, a great quality of life core change with the augments and all the other stuff that I hope gets more fleshed out. And I think that overall, they just kicked it out of the park with this season. They didn't add anything too big aside from the augment system, but again, everything else they added either solved a problem or, it either provided a solution to a problem that already existed, or essentially just introduced a new system that people didn't even ask for but is welcome all the less. I think it is amazing. The augment system alone can literally be its whole own video, but I'm too lazy to do that and I have no time because I have work and I'm depressed. But to kind of conclude the thoughts here, because I run the risk of repeating myself, I honestly think this Fortnite season is so fucking good from just the start of it that I've seen. The gameplay, the graphics, the systems, everything is good. And Twitter seems to agree as well from what I've seen. I honestly just love Fortnite and I hope they keep it up because honestly, I don't know how they are going to and I don't know how they keep doing it. But if there's one thing Fortnite has done, it has consistently shocked me with how good they will keep their game being and how far they will just keep raising the bar. And again, they can't do it as bad as they did it back in the day, but they are still subverting my expectations. So overall, I think this new season is fucking great, and I'm very excited to see the future of Fortnite. I love fucking Fortnite. I like Fortnite. I like Fortnite. I like Fortnite. Eee!